Dive in.
Yeah, so I was able to attend the first meeting and was really impressed with the special education team. They talked about frustrations and areas of improvement, and it was really great to see them kind of not hold back. They took the opportunity for what it was, which was the district administration saying, we want you to tell us exactly how can we solve these problems. You're in it day in and day out. And so you could tell that they were comfortable sharing, and what they were sharing was really big things and things that impact teachers and campuses every day. And so it was great to see them do that, but then an hour later when they're presenting, talking about solutions. And so that was a really cool experience to watch them do that in real time. Same with, Tally and her team with Multilingual, talking about the Newcomer Academy and, where do you expand that? Where is that needed most? And, we're a district that is changing in demographics. And so we need to make sure that the appropriate level of resources are dedicated to those populations, those student groups. And so love the work that her and her team were doing, and they were on it. The one, I don't know if I would call it an ask, but I saw one of the things you had on there for recommendations was magnet programs, academies, and I know it's going to come to the board on the 18th and the 19th is something that we decide, something that I've discussed with members of the community and that I would say is an ask from me and something that we can discuss on the 18th or 19th, but that I'd like to see is a classical academy option as well. There's a lot of classical academy charter schools in the areas. I think they probably do take some students away from Plano ISD. And I think if we want to try to attract students from outside the district and even attract students and teachers within our district, that may be a model that there's teachers on our district and students on our district that would really like, and they don't want to go to a charter school. They don't want to make that drive. They want to have something in district. So that's something that I'm passionate about, and there's a group of parents that I've talked with. They're passionate about it. So, that's something I'd ask my fellow trustees to consider when we start making decisions on the 18th and 19th.
So I attended the second one of these, and I will echo Cody's comments on, the SPED group. And having been a parent that's gone through early intervention and gone through ARDs and IEPs and, now transitioned to a 504, and having a child with unique needs like all of our SPED children do, I have been in these meetings where they're like, but your kid's deaf, he needs XYZ. And I'm like, no, he really doesn't. And for us as a family, it can be an FM system. My son's never used an FM system the entire time he's been in school, but that's like the go-to. And so this is one of the things that I heard from the SPED staff that resonated with me. And again, I appreciate their honesty that they said, every one of these children have unique needs, and we need to evaluate those unique needs rather than say, deaf kid, here's the playbook, right? And that's why that ARD meeting is such a great back and forth with parents. And I'm clearly a very involved, mouthy parent, right? I don't have a problem in a meeting saying, no, I really don't think that my son needs these interventions. But there are definitely a lot of families that come out of those ARD meetings feeling like, did they listen to me? And I hear that from families, but then to hear the SPED staff, say, we need to be doing a little bit more of a bespoke job here in putting these interventions and supports together. Like, it's something that I'm hearing for families, and I have experienced myself, and then it's something we're hearing from the SPED staff. And so that alignment, I was very happy to hear. One of the things in the second one of these meetings is one of our principals said, like, is the board going to understand all this? I mean, like, they're not experts in pedagogy. And everybody kind of got real quiet and turned around and looked at me. And I was like, this is why we need you guys, right? This is why we need your expertise and why you're doing these sessions. Because we as the board set the vision, but thank you to all of the staff that did this and worked very hard on putting together these rationales. And even, even us, for example, with transportation, I see dual language transportation to my son's campus every day, but we have other dual language campuses where transportation needs are not being met. So as a board member, I thought, well, the dual language kids are getting bused, but that's not true in certain pockets of the district. And that's one of the things that Tally and her team brought up too. So I think that this was very, very helpful, and you're right, they did not hold back. On academies and magnets, this gave me a little bit of a moment of pause. And I want to make the point that I like academies, I like magnets, I know there's demand for that. I absolutely am in favor of parents being able to choose different options, and those options being within PISD. The discussion that the academic group had that resonated with me and that I'm a little sensitive to is that if here's where we're at, and here's where we want the bar to be, and here's where a magnet would be in any given field, like basket weaving, okay? So here's where we're at with basket weaving. Here's the bar where we want to be with basket weaving. And here's the basket weaving magnet sort of level of education delivery. I don't want 500 kids in the district to get magnet level basket weaving in elementary school while the other 19,500 elementary kids in our district, we're not raising the bar for them, right? And so in developing academies and magnet programs, I want to make sure that we're not losing sight of we're raising the bar for everybody. We're not raising the bar for the 500 kids that can attend a particular magnet program. And so again, while I'm very, very supportive of choice and academies and magnets and keeping those students within PISD, I want to make sure we're not getting so distracted by, developing shiny academies that we're not going back and saying, okay, this is going to serve 500 kids in elementary. What about the other 19,500? How are we raising the bar for them? And then to build on that, if you've got your magnet basket weaving up here, what are we learning from that magnet to filter down into the other schools? And this is something that I would love for like the Academy High School to sort of be like a test lab, right? Magnets can be a test lab, and then how do you filter that down into the rest of the schools? So it's one of those things that I think if we're going to do that, those models can be extremely, extremely effective. I just want to make sure that the plan isn't, let's take a struggling school and try and transform it by making it a magnet, as opposed to we're going to raise the bar for all almost 50,000 students in this district and offer choices for our families, as you pointed out, in addition to that.
So I guess along that line of logic, we already have Huffman, right? We have the IB elementary school. And so, that's something that benefits the 500 or probably a lot more students that are currently being served there. I totally agree with your notion that whatever is achieved on, let's say, a magnet program campus that seems to be highly effective needs to be disseminated across the district for the benefit of all students. And I think the way you do that is not just one magnet school. We have a lot of elementary schools that are, they have high capacity because they have low enrollment. And if we can transform them, let's say one's a fine arts academy, we're appealing to, that particular student population that's really jazzed up about fine arts, and then maybe classical academy, and maybe there's a STEAM academy, and we have all these different ones. I think by innovating and doing as much as possible, we can start to tap into that. But if we're not doing that work in our own district, we're not going to be learning from those different student groups and seeing how we can improve outcomes. So it's kind of one of those, the chicken before the egg. We want to raise the bar for all students, and one of the ways we're going to do that is by providing these options and the outcomes of those options and the innovation and curriculum that is developed for those options are going to inform how we raise the bar elsewhere. But we've got to do one before we're able to kind of trickle down that knowledge and feedback to the others. And so, and again, it's one of those things where we do risk losing those students to schools that do offer those programs.
So I think we can have both, actually. I think we can do an academy model, but I think that we can also, and staff is hearing the board's desire to make sure that we don't lose anything at the non-magnet level. But I think we can do both, and I'll give y'all a great example of us doing this already, and that is the AVID program that started a decade plus ago. Gosh, maybe in the...
It was more than that.
My kids were Blake was in middle school, and he's 27 years old. Yeah, so 20 years ago, gosh. But we took that model, put it into campuses, and then utilized the strategies learned in AVID throughout all of the classrooms, and we've successfully done that. And so that we've done that before. I think we could do something like that with magnet programs as well.